Hello, Trinidad and Tobago. We are in the capital city of Port of Spain. Now, here is the location where this individual started a successful social media career. His content promotes education through entertainment, and many persons have learned their culture and history through his questions. He is freshly back from his European tour, flying the Trinidad and Tobago flag throughout the region. If you don't know who I'm talking about, you are about to know. Let's walk and chat with Mr. What You Know himself, Daniel Loveless. Come on.
What is a normal autopsy?
I'm not sure now.
Okay, that's okay. It's basically a test conducted on a deceased person.
Hello, Daniel. Nice
Hi,
to
how
meet
you doing?
you.
Nice I like the glasses and
Oh,
fit.
thank you. Thank you. First of all, I want to say thank you
No
for
problem.
taking the time. I know you're a busy man. You
Yeah,
just
yeah,
came
yeah.
back from your Europe tour.
Yes.
So how was that?
It was fun. It was really fun. The scenery out there really nice. You know, in terms of technology, really advanced out there. It's a bit pricey on the food, so that part wasn't so fun. But other than that, I really enjoyed the tour. I got a lot of content out there. I was able to do some Spanish speaking episodes.
Oh.
I had a little difficulty with the French because I ain't so good in French. But other than that, it was a successful trip.
Yeah. And tell us, how did you start the whole show? How was it first birthed?
Okay, so well, What You Know actually began as a social experiment. So I had a friend of mine. I used to attend a church up in my hometown in Arima, Malabar. Yeah.
So that's where you're from?
Yeah, that's where I'm from.
Okay.
And he was like a leader in the church, and he always liked my personality.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me that I should try doing like a show of my own, because he thought that I should have, some sort of platform of my own. So I said, you know what? That is a good idea. We should probably really do something.
Yeah.
And I always had this idea for a show called What You Know,
Right.
where I would kind of like test the knowledge of different persons across the country, etc. So I said, okay, let's build on that idea. Let's try to go out in Port of Spain and ask people questions.
Yeah.
So said, so done. He really came and picked me up. It was like a Saturday morning, a carnival Saturday morning. I think it was Kiddies Carnival. And we came down to Port of Spain, and we parked in a car park not too far from here, from Independence Square. And I remember coming out the car, and he set up his camera because he was good with camera stuff, etc. And he just put up the camera, and he was like, well, if you're doing a show, you gotta do an intro. It's when you write to do an intro. And I remember standing there being a bit confused, because I never did a show of my own. I had the idea, but I didn't know what it took to actually produce a show. So I remember just taking the mic, and the only thing that came to mind was Trinidad and Tobago, it's your boy Daniel. Trinidad and Tobago didn't know their boy Daniel yet. But I was like, Trinidad and Tobago, it's your boy Daniel. We're out here in Port of Spain, and we're going to ask people the simple question of what you know. Because the show was called What You Know, before I changed it to What You Know.
Yeah.
And that was the start of What You Know. We got out on the streets, and we started going questioning people. And as I, from the first person that I interviewed, I just kind of got my groove, and I kept going interviewing people in the streets.
But when you started to interview people, were people receptive of you coming up to them and asking questions?
They actually were. I think anybody, with a camera and mic, people always quick to come and say something. And Trini is because of the culture that we have and how outspoken, we are as a people. I found that a lot of people were receptive, and they came to answer the questions. I remember having a $50 note in my hand. Well, I don't know if it was a 20 in that time, if we didn't have the 50 yet. But we were challenging people, hey, answer 5 questions and you'll earn $50.
So before you continue, Daniel, this sun is extremely hot. Let me move.
Let me go. The first time I released a What You Know video, which was probably after like 3 months after we actually recorded it, because at that time I didn't know how to do any editing or so. So my friend had another friend who was an editor, so he sent him the footage, but him being busy, he didn't really find the time to edit it. So we had to take a while to actually receive it. So yeah, man. So I didn't know how funny the show actually was. I mean, on the spot it seemed funny, but when we got back the clip, I had already forgotten that. So when we got back the clip and I looked at it, I was like, damn, this is really funny. And that's why I made the decision I said, let me put it out and let me continue doing, more interviews and see how people react towards it.
How long had this show started?
7 years in existence.
7 years.
Next year, February, makes it 8 years of Want Tuh.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And what encouraged you to decide to go outside of Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, I did Want Tuh in Trinidad for about 3 years before I started traveling. It became a bit repetitive going to, Trinidad is only
small island.
Yeah, small island,
So
and then there's Tobago, which is smaller.
Yeah.
So it started to become a way where every time I go to Port of Spain, I'm already accustomed to the people there already.
Yeah, so they know
me already.
Yeah.
Arima, they know me. Five Rivers, Tuna Puna, San Fernando, etc. So I realized that I needed to do something new, to keep the hype of the show going. And that's when I had the idea to, go to the Caribbean. And what also influenced me as well was that a lot of people would reach out in the comments and say, Daniel, come to Guyana, Daniel, come to Canada, Daniel, we love you in New York, etc. And that's why I got the idea. But I didn't have a visa at the time, so I just started I started with Guyana. Guyana was my first place that I went, and from there I just kept building and building and building. You asked me for free money.
And which country you think was most receptive of you? Which country you felt was more excited? In
the beginning, I definitely think Guyana was the most excited. But as of recently, Jamaica is the country that, the last visit I did to Jamaica, the reception was just like crazy. Like everybody is just like so excited to have the show in the country, encouraging me to go different places across Jamaica. So it's just a hype that just keeps rebuilding each time I travel, etc.
And you know that people say that we speak fast, our Trini dialect, we are fluent, but we speak fast.
Yeah.
When you went international, like America, Canada, Europe, is it that you had to change your speech or your tone so that people can understand you?
So what I do, I just take my time and speak. So when I'm in Trinidad, I would speak like this, a bit faster, etc. But when I go to like America, I would like take my time and recite the questions for them and just slow it down a bit. But they do understand. Because I actually did a broadcasting course, because at one time I wanted to be a radio announcer. So I think that the lessons that I would have learned there would have also helped in the show that I do. Yeah.
And what is one or a few of the behind the scenes moment that people didn't see that you could tell us about now?
Well, one of the behind the scenes moments, there are a lot of behind the scenes moments, but I would say that one of the highlights of my career that I didn't really broadcast much to people was that a lot of the countries that I went to in the early stages of traveling, which are like over 26 destinations around the world, I went alone. I didn't go with a camera person, I didn't go with a crew. It was just me, my camera, my tripod, and I would most of the times hope that I meet people in each of these countries that assist me in producing the show. But what I would do is that I would broadcast it in such a way, and keeping with the look of things on social media, to make it look as if, the team coming to Las Vegas, the team coming to Guyana. Now in reality, people would then reach out and say, hey, I'm a big fan, and then I would kind of like ask those fans to help me in doing the show. So when I get to those countries, I would show them how to use the camera, how to make it brighter, how to make it lighter, etc. And they would actually be the ones to record the What You Know videos for me. So through that, I've managed to build a lot of long-lasting friendships with people across the world, so that now, although I'm able to carry people with me when I travel, I still have these friends across these different countries.
Yeah.
Because I think this year I'm trying to be as real as possible with my audience, and trying to like be open with them about all the struggles that I face, the things that happen behind the scenes. So it's only now, I would say this year, I'm opening up about challenges that I face. Another one of the challenges is in terms of money. Sometimes what I would do, I would get deals at home and then take that money and invest it into traveling. But by the time I get back home, I have no money. But it would look to people as if, he has all the money in the world to travel, etc. But that's another one of the things. I'm actually writing a book that I'm going to release in on the 10th year of my career, because I just have this idea that doing What You Know for so long, I believe that's a decade. I think that would mark a good chapter to release the book. The book is actually going to be entitled What You Didn't Know. Yeah, I'm actually about 5 chapters in, but I just want to wait until something grand happens in my career before I drop it. Because I still don't believe that, although I've achieved so much, I still want to achieve a lot more to be able to put that out and, you know, show people that, you know, you can do what I did. Yeah. This is what I did in 10 years, and probably you could do it as well.
And as you mentioned, challenges. What motivation you have for persons looking on? Because as you rightfully said, people see the glitz and glamour and they're like, oh, I could do this. But you'll face challenges. So what could you encourage another person looking on saying, I want to do this?
Well, my words of advice to anybody looking would be to keep going, you know. I mean, because I have had challenges from the beginning of the show, you know, in that, you know, some people wanted to boycott the show, some people didn't like the show. You know, up to this day, some people don't like the show. Throughout the years, it's not all the time the views would have been the highest. You know, some years the views would have been lower. Some years, you know, I felt like, why am I even doing this? But I just had to keep going and keep trying to find ways to reinvent myself. So anyone looking, I would just say, keep going. There's always something new you can do, even if you feel like, you know, you've exhausted all the ideas. I mean, right now I'm working on a card game. A watching card game. I've actually finished it, but we're just refining it a lot more, testing it out with a lot of people, etc., before we could actually put it out there for sale. You know, so it's just like trying to find new ways to do different things. So keep going is the biggest message that I could put out there to people.
And I guess you're branching out into your entrepreneurial skills too, because you're having card games, you're writing your books.
Yes. I did a degree in business management at the University of the Southern Caribbean. So I've always had that business mind. So, you know, just always looking for different ways. I mean, what, you know, in itself is a business on its own. We have a lot of different branches under the What You Know brand. In terms of, you know, people sometimes hire me to make appearances, you know, brand ambassadorship opportunities, I mean, partnerships, collaborations. So a lot of different things, but, you know, I think this year I'm just focusing on what more can I do, you know.
So give me 3 important things that you feel people should know when traveling or when traveling for the first time, for those who haven't traveled.
Right. When traveling for the first time, I would firstly recommend that you try to do your own research into your flight costs and your accommodation costs, because, you know, fun fact, I've never used a travel agency to book any of my flights traveling. I've done it all myself. And you know, people who want to even use a travel agency, I would say, like, compare the costs. So that's the first thing. So if the travel agency tell you 10,000 TTD for a 5-day trip, you could go compare your own costs now. And if it costs less, I mean, don't be a fool, you know.
Correct.
Tell you book it on your own. You know, that's one. Second travel tip I would say is pre-plan your itinerary in advance. I have traveled for over 5 years, and it's something that I flawed in doing, but you know, it's only now that I do it. And that research where you're going, know your budget, and you know, you could plan out a list of things to do every day. With even artificial intelligence is a thing that can help you a lot now, because sometimes what I do, I use my Snapchat AI and I say, hey, plan out an itinerary for me for Europe for 5 days, my budget is X amount, and the AI will literally send you an itinerary. So it's like even using technology to make your travel more convenient. And you know, my third travel tip would be, never be afraid to ask the check-in counter person at the airport to upgrade your flight, because fun fact, they can do that for free sometimes, and sometimes by just asking or being a little extra kind to them. I've been upgraded to first class many times, or business class many times, just by being kind. Hey, how you doing? You look nice, you know, nice name, love your name, etc. And then in the end they say, hey, are there any possible upgrades you can do for me? And sometimes they upgrade you for free. Yeah, so.
What made you go and pick up this card and say, I'm gonna do this charitable initiative and take care of this kid?
No, what really ended up happening was I was on my way to drop a friend home, and we saw this cat in the middle of the highway. So I was like, okay, let me stop, and I mean, my instinct's kicky, let me stop and move it from the middle of the highway. And I just picked her up and I put her in the back of my van. And you know, the intention was to actually, you know, find someone to, because I posted on my Instagram, I was like, anybody want a kitten, hit me up, etc. But then, you know, one day I just took her, I think it was the second day, I brought her inside, and she just never left from inside since. I named her Heaven, because I mean, if I didn't save her, that's where she might have been going. that's why I named her Heaven. Yeah.
And then you have a social media, so you have an Instagram.
Yes. Heaven Send 68, yeah. So I created an Instagram for, and you know, the sweetest little, we went all to Tobago together. I sometimes want to travel with her, but it's so expensive because you got to pay for their airfare as well.
Yeah,
something like 100 or 150 US. So we say I leave her home, but you know, nice cat.
With someone though.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm a mom or somebody else. Yeah.
Yes, good. What, I know you travel to different countries. What country that you haven't traveled to yet that you want to take the show?
I think the next place I'm definitely gonna go is I'm gonna explore the African continent. So I wanna explore a few countries in Africa. Because I mean I did it. I mean Europe, Dubai, everywhere else in the world. I haven't touched Australia or like Antarctica yet, but I think I definitely want to touch the African continent, kind of get back in touch with my roots, maybe, if you want to say.
Yes. I didn't mind your business a bit, but I shouldn't say I'm minding it because you have it on your social media. You got engaged, you have a fiance. How did you guys met? Was it two questions? You asking questions on the road and you guys
So it was actually like right after or during the pandemic. I had an engagement with some friends. And you know, she was there, and you know, we just started talking right after. I think they were cooking, and she was helping with the cooking, etc. And I think my entrance line was, you know, love the food, it tasted good. Got a number from someone else, and you know, we just started talking, and from there it just took off, and now we're
traveling the world.
Now we're traveling the world with her. Yeah. So that's exciting. You know, it's exciting to you know, at first I thought it might be bad, you know, because you know also because I'm traveling alone, and here you know have somebody else, a whole new personality, a whole new likes, etc. But you know we're so similar that it works out seamlessly. So you know we travel together. Sometimes she would handle the camera work, etc. If I don't go with someone to do that, so you know it's fun.
And what's next for you? Apart, I know you said your book is coming out well, when you hit the 10-year mark.
Yeah.
But what is next for you in the future? I know we can't really predict, but what are you hoping to achieve?
Right. Well, you know, I hope to have what, you know, streamed on some sort of on a very popular platform, you know, Netflix or some one of these different streaming platforms, because I want to tap into a new audience, basically. So you know, I'm already doing the work in terms of, you know, I travel to these different places and I want to turn that into an actual show. It's a show already, but I want to now put that show on a platform that people who probably may not be familiar with me will know about the show. So you know, I'm working towards that by, you know, trying to produce as much content as possible and trying to, you know, pitch, you know, ideas to different producers and execs, etc. So you know, I think that would be the next. That would be when I would want to release the book, the book here, because I know that will be a very big deal for me. And you know, just trying to find ways. I think these days I'm trying to find different branches of what, you know, that I can create that can run without me. And the card game is one of the very first steps, and I really wanted to create it in a way that people, you know, like the game is not predictable. You know, the name of the game is how well can you spell? What you know, how well can you spell? And it can last 100 years and the rules will remain the same, really similar to Scrabble or really similar to these other games that you could play. And you know, it's not predictable in that what is the first capital of Trinidad. So by the time you play it 3 times, you already know all the answers to the game. You know, it's a game that can last throughout time, and that's how I aspire to build stuff that I do. Things that people could look years from now, even when I'm gone, and still enjoy these things.
And what about family life? When are you going to start to have children? Stuff like, I know you're traveling a lot.
Yeah. Family life, I think I'm leaving that one to the creator. When that challenge is, not challenge, but when that blessing is thrown to me, I deal with it as it comes. But I would definitely say that all the things that I'm doing in my career and in my business right now is to prepare for that when that time comes. So you know, I don't know when it happened. Well, let's see a big belly. Oh, I know what's going on.
And how has your life been growing up in Malabar?
Malabar, yeah.
How has your life been growing up in Malabar?
A very fun life, you know. Where I live in Malabar, it's but at least my community where I live is very quiet. You know, no certain activity going on. I had a inside life, if you wanna call it that. You know, my mom would just provide me with everything. She is and was same thing, single mother. and she would provide everything that I needed, from the brand, the newest computer, and we didn't grow up rich or having the most, but she would grind in order to provide for me. So that's something that I appreciate a lot, because she is definitely responsible for even convincing me that I could do anything that I put my mind to. She would work and she would provide, and being inside a lot gave me the time to come up with all these great ideas. I'm really tech savvy, so aside from what I'm really in the know when it comes to how to use a computer, how to use this device, how to hack into this, how to, I'm really, really tech savvy, how to, loopholes, etc. And I think that has helped me now in what I do right now, where I'm able to get the cheapest flights. I'm able to figure out, how to do things at a cheaper cost, bank accounts. I figured out just the other day how to open a US bank account as a Trinidadian. So I figured that out. So many things. My company is registered in the US. Did that in like 5 minutes by touching base with somebody who was able to do it for me. So I really want to credit my mom. Her name is Lily. Mommy, if you're watching, love you. For putting these things in place to enable me to do certain things. So although she may not be able to do it, because of the things that she provided for me, I was able to, from learning how to edit. I was a photographer at one point in time. We could even talk about that. Before I started what I saved money, bought my camera, did my gigs, bought a car. I was always a go-getter, and I think that I learned that from her. She was a go-getter, yes.
So you were doing photography in like parties, events?
Yes. So I first had a company called Loveless Photography. I was always set on being my own boss. I always wanted to, when I completed secondary school and I started my degree, I got a job. It was an office job. Was probably being paid about $3,000 to $4,000 per month. But I didn't like the idea of somebody having a cap on what I could earn and telling me when I will be paid, which is completely fine for the people who do it out there. So I don't want to say that something is wrong with that, but what is right is wanting more for yourself. And I decided to take my first paycheck from the job that I was working, and I purchased a camera. And after purchasing that camera, I set up a Facebook page, being tech savvy as I was, and I taught myself how to do photography through YouTube. And so I went and learned about aperture and ISO and f-stop, and all the photographers who know what I'm talking about, and white balance and editing and Final Cut, and I downloaded all the programs, and I started off my business. And this is a sort of like inspirational topic for anybody looking right now. I started my business by reaching out to promoters to come to the events and shoot for free without any monetary compensation, etc. So I would have worked at Coco Lounge, Vast Lounge, ZA, and these different clubs, and I would then take these pictures now and use it to add to my portfolio. And then when I added it to my portfolio, soon the paying gigs came. At that time, I was not even driving. So although my mom was driving, I would work on the avenue in the night, and at like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning, I would walk from the avenue, because there were no taxis, walk from the avenue right here to Independence Square, to Citygate, take a maxi, travel home, and that was my life, because I didn't want to inconvenience mom to come pick me up, because she didn't even like that being out late doing that photography kind of vibe. And I started getting $300 per gig at Coco Lounge, and I saved that. I managed to save $18,000, and I bought a matrix, and that's where I started, and I just kept going. And that ties back into my little motivational words that I said earlier, in that keep going. I didn't start traveling the world and making all this money, etc. But I started from nothing and built myself up.
Consistency.
Yeah.
So now we have to ask you questions.
Yeah.
You know that coming, right? So
yeah.
Ask you some questions for us to see what you know.
For sure.
So we're gonna ask you some questions here. First of all, spell Mississippi.
Mississippi, Mississippi. I know that one. Let's ask that one.
And I asked you back that because I think you asked that question.
Yeah. It'd be funny if I spell it wrong.
I was trying to get you, but I realized you know your stuff.
Yeah.
What does the white represent on the Trinidad and Tobago flag?
That's a good one, and I asked this one years ago.
Yes, you did.
Does it represent the earth?
No.
No. I know the black is the oil, the red is the blood, I think. I don't know. And the white is purity.
White is water.
White is water.
Purity is close.
Okay,
Purity
good.
Is close.
And the red is what?
Red is fire.
Red is fire, I
Yes,
see blood.
yes.
And the black is earth.
Yes,
Good.
black is earth.
Okay.
And what year did Wendy Fitzwilliam was crowned Miss Universe?
Oh, good. Way boy, Wendy boy. And Wendy is my friend, and every time I say, Wendy, what's going on? Let's see. 1998.
Oh,
No, so yeah, I was born in
yes,
1998 actually. Yeah.
Okay, so
That's what I remember. I was born in that year.
okay. And who is the police commissioner right now?
Oh my gosh! And you know, funny enough, I was looking on TikTok where a reporter asked her what she think about her performance so far, and she said excellent. And I laughed. And I really don't know. Is it Sandra or something? Who is she? What was her name? Ola what?
No. Wait a minute. Ola Christopher.
Ola Christopher,
Which
good.
is Ola Hayward Christopher.
Ola Hayward Christopher.
Yes,
Good.
yes.
I remember that
Everyone
now.
knows her as Ola.
Ola, okay.
So I just wanted to see.
Sorry, Ola.
You know we had to we had to ask you these questions.
Yeah.
Daniel, I was supposed to ask you, I forgot to ask you. The earlier years of you doing what you know, you were slender, slim, small.
Yeah.
And then one episode, I was like, boom. How did that transition happen? Like, I felt like it was just...
Yeah, well, what happened was that, I started to look at myself because, I'm doing what you know, so I was looking at myself on camera, and I find I was getting a belly, and I find, I just didn't like how I was looking.
Yeah.
And not to say having a belly is bad, so I don't want to imply that it's bad,
It's bad.
but what is bad is if you're not comfortable with something and you're not doing something about it. If you have a big belly and you're comfortable with that, by all means. But in my case, I wasn't all the way comfortable with how I looked, and I thought that, being a personality and being behind the camera, etc., I should look a specific way. So I started to, head to the gym and work out, etc., and that's how I managed to build a strong man body.
How often do you go to the gym though? How?
Well, when I was in my prime, I used to go in the gym every day, Monday to Friday. But traveling a lot, there's kind of disrupt my schedule a lot. Because sometimes, in a different country and being out all day, you come home, you're tired, etc. So right now, probably 3 to 4 days, I'm trying to get back in my groove. And, all this to say, don't be afraid sometimes if you used to do something over a period of time and you stop doing it, don't be discouraged. I used to gym every day. Now it's probably 3 days or 4 days. Next week it might be 5 days. Next week it might be no days, but it's just all about being willing to show up and do the work, no matter what.
And are the food tempting in these different countries?
Yeah, for sure. And I definitely accept the temptation and indulge in the temptation. Very, very tempting, but I didn't think nothing could top the Caribbean food.
Yeah.
Trini food, I didn't feel nothing could come close. But I did enjoy, though, the pastries in France. It made me realize that Trinidad pastries, they have some work to do. Yeah, but France, you had to eat a croissant and then when you go France.
Yeah. But Daniel, thank you so much for taking the time out. I know you're busy, you're a traveling man now.
Yes.
So when we see you in Trinidad, we have to snatch you up.
Yes.
Any final words for persons viewing?
I mean, my final words would just be to, go after the things that your heart truly desires. Whatever, that is burning inside you, whatever you have a passion for, I recommend you go after it, I would also recommend to, don't allow social media to warp and distort your mind in terms of the things that you want to achieve, Everybody has their journey. I mean, and this is my journey. You might see someone else on their journey. They might be achieving so much, but sometimes they really never know what that person did to get to where they are. Your journey is your journey, and so much may be in store for you probably within the next year or probably tomorrow, you never know. But you don't want to waste that energy focusing on someone else's journey. And just go after the things you want. Try to be genuine with your intentions. I would say, try not to even try to fit into the trends. I have never tried, I have tried at a point in time in my career to tie in with the trends and to be the coolest, etc. But that led me into a place not feeling fulfilled. And it's only this year I've come back to, as of recently, saying, you know, let me be real. Instead of trying to put on the show that people expect, or try to show people what they expect me to be, let me just be me. Like, this is me, this is the real me, this is struggles I face. I've even started broadcasting some of the you know, I don't want to call it failures, but roadblocks and challenges that I face. I went to France to do What You Know, and you know, not being able to speak French well, I didn't get to produce the type of content I wanted to produce. Me last year might not come and say, well, Ole, I went France and it wasn't easy. All the other countries was good, but France, I would still probably try to showcase it as, you know, a success. So try to just be real with yourself, be real with people, keep going after your goals. And my final thing to say is, you know, anybody who is experiencing a downtime right now, whether you be a designer, a photographer, you're working at, you know, a fast food chain, etc., because it's not limited to anybody. Anybody who is having a downtime right now, I would say to find things to occupy yourself. That's what I do to get myself out of downtimes, because you begin to realize when you start working on the things that you're passionate about. Like, I started working on this card game, and you think I had time to study what anybody else is achieving while working on a card game? Or let me come up with some new questions for What You Know. Then I ain't have no time to study anything else, study failure or being down, or, you know, constantly try to find something to do to occupy yourself. In my case, is writing my book. Anytime I'm feeling down, I just begin to write. So much things that you could do. You know, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, you definitely can achieve. And I hope I didn't say too much to overwhelm you, but if you didn't know, now you know.
Thank you so much, Daniel, for your time again, and we wish you all the best in the future. And we look forward to see What You Know takes us. And I want you to tell us, okay, I have been trying to say, is what you know, how you know, where you know.
So it's we just want to know what you know, if you know, anything you know. You may know, I may not know, or we just want to know what you know. And if you didn't know, now you know.
Well, I'm not going to repeat that, guys. I'm definitely not going to embarrass myself, but we are happy to have Daniel here, and we can't wait to see what the next 2-3 years Daniel produces.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Check out my YouTube channel, What You Know on YouTube, and you could follow us on Facebook as well, What You Know, and check out Trini Globe Media as well. And well, if you didn't know, now you know. We out.
And in your Instagram?
Instagram, my personal Instagram is I am Daniel Loveless, and the Instagram for What You Know is What You Know TT.
All right, so we out, guys. Take care.
All right, we go do an impromptu interview here for the $10.
Let me see your $10.
Cheap. Alright, there we go.
Let me see if you know it. Just now.
Know it? Nah, will you plan something or what?
No.
You want to ask me about? Ask me about the Privy Council decision.
Alright, good. I'll go ask you that, and I'll go ask you some simple questions.
Simple question?
Let me pull up my question there. What's your name?
My name is Erwin Moses.
Erwin Moses, yeah. Alright, check. Yo, my name is Daniel Loveless. I'm rolling with Trini Globe Media right now. I just did an interview with them, and we're doing a little impromptu interview of What You Know right now. Tell the people your name now, man.
My name is Erwin. My name is Erwin Moses.
Alright, Erwin.
And I'm a schoolmate of the Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley.
You lie. Tell me a little bit about the Prime Minister when he was going to school.
Prime Minister is a boss from beginning.
Alright.
The Prime Minister is a boss from beginning.
Right. What was his nickname in school?
Nah, we never had a nickname for him. It was always Keith. I mean, before Dr. Rowley is Keith. You know, he's a regular kind of guy.
Alright.
Before he graduated now.
Alright, good. Talking about Prime Ministers, name the last 3 Prime Ministers of Trinidad and Tobago.
Basil Pandey, Patrick Manning, and Kamala Prasad Bissessa.
Alright.
All 3 of which have serious, I mean, Patrick do it bad.
Yeah.
But you see that we against them business?
Yeah.
Heads
like
off.
That.
Heads rolling for that.
Yeah.
Right?
Alright.
And you see that hanging where she hung Pandey out of your office? Bad example.
Yeah, like that. Alright, no problem.
Bad example for leadership.
This is the next question here. Yeah, former
question. I'm easy.
Easy questions. Alright. Alright, this.
You forget I tell you what my schoolmate.
Alright.
Tough one.
This is the next question. What's the square root of 64?
I forget about square root and pi and them things.
Try a thing, man.
Nah,
Alright. This is
the maths class now, you know.
Understand what you say.
Right.
Give me 10 words.
Square root of what? 64?
64.
That means 64 multiplied by 64?
No, something by something gave 64.
88?
Yeah.
Says it?
Yeah.
I tell you when the school the prime minister, but don't ask me no stupid question like that. What do you buy?
All right.
Come again.
All right, come again.
Well, that's a hard question.
All right.
What do we do about local? Ask me one question.
All right. Tell me you wanted to talk about the Privy Council decision. Tell me about it.
Tell you about it?
Yeah.
I think Faris Alwari digging a deep hole for my partner.
Okay, you feel so?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I don't like the doctor, the way name? The fella who say he was getting kicked back from Ram Logan and then
I understand.
his Faris set up the whole.
I understand.
I don't want to talk about this too much. You know,
I understand what you're saying.
As a foreigner, you know what I mean?
I understand what you're saying. I'll go get your next question. I'll get your next question.
$10 buy.
Well, hold on, you have one more question.
I see a $10 yet.
Well, no, we had the 10. We have get what? 20. Before you go for the $20,
My real question now.
for the $20, give me 30 words without the letter A in it.
30 words without the letter A in it. Before yesterday was day before yesterday, and tomorrow is going to be yesterday today.
All right.
How many words you get it?
Lots of words.
Give me a period.
You get through.
Oh God!
You get
Give a
through.
donation. Give a donation. I serious. Give a donation to some charity. I was just
Thanks a lot,
I
boy.
like to take back my money, boy. I like to take back my money, boy. I want to give it to a donation.
Give it to a donation to anybody.
All right, brother.
Thank you.
And watch. We are going to answer.
Oh,
All right, brother.
I'll be a
Keep good,
captain,
man.
okay? I believe that.
Right.
Just